From the moment the Shield imploded in 2014, Dean Ambrose, the lunatic French, stepped out as the wild card of the group, bringing that energy fans just couldn't get enough of. Whether it was cutting gritty promos, throwing hands in brutal matches, or holding it down as a main eventer, Ambrose's post-Shield WWE career was a roller coaster, with all the highs, lows, and everything in between. When the Shield broke up in June 2014, after Seth Rollins betrayed them, Ambrose went straight for Seth's neck. This rivalry was personal, from day one too, with Ambrose pulling up like a madman possessed every single week. Their feud popped off with some crazy moments, from Ambrose hijacking Seth's Money in the Bank, still funny as hell to this day, to their brutal Hell in a Cell match later that year. Every time these two stepped in the ring, it was a banger. During this time, Ambrose also started showing his versatility, whether it was cutting promos in the crowd or getting into street fights on Raw. Dude was everywhere. The fans loved him because he wasn't trying to be polished or perfect. He was raw, unpredictable, and just fun to watch. And while he didn't always come out on top in these early feuds, Ambrose kept proving he could hang with almost anyone. Fast forward, and Dean has that momentum going. His feud with Bray Wyatt gave us some gritty storytelling, including an insane TLC match, where Ambrose electrocuted himself after a TV exploded, which is kind of wacky and not good, if I'm being honest. And even though he lost, he also bounced back like a lunatic, never letting a loss keep him down. And by 2015-2016, it was time for him to shine as a top guy. After years of grinding, Ambrose finally hit the jackpot, winning the WWE title at Money in the Bank. And not only did he cash in on Seth Rollins, but he did it the same night both Seth and Rollins won the title. As champ, Dean's run was solid, but he had some questionable booking, not gonna cap. His first big feud was with Seth and Roman, ending in a triple threat match at Battleground, where Dean retained. And let me say, the match was fire. 3 Shield members going at it with everything on the line. And I just want to know one thing. Why wasn't this match ever ran at a bigger stage? Why wasn't the Shield triple threat ran at WrestleMania, SummerSlam, or even the Royal Rumble? This shit was ran at Battleground, bro. After the triple threat, Dean would then transition into a rivalry with Dolph Ziggler, heading into SummerSlam 2016, where he once again defended his title successfully. One of his more memorable feuds during this time was against AJ Styles. When AJ first came to the title picture, their chemistry was undeniable. Ambrose's rugged, chaotic style clashed perfectly with AJ's polished, high-flying technique. Their matches, especially at Backlash and TLC, were classics. Like, they were amazing. If you're subscribed to Peacock, watch these matches now. Like, one moment I will never forget is AJ Styles doing a springboard 450 outside of the ring through a table. Like, come on now, bro. And their rivalry eventually ended with AJ taking the title off Ambrose, but that didn't really hurt Dean, because he came off as a total star afterwards. After losing the WWE title, Ambrose pivoted back to the mid-card scene, and honestly, dude carried the IC title like it was the top prize in the company. His feuds with guys like The Miz, Kevin Owens, and Baron Corbin kept things fresh, and he always brought intensity to every match. And that especially worked in a feud with someone like The Miz. Their promos, their segments, even their matches were everything that somebody would want out of a mid-card title. And we learned quick, whether Ambrose was in the main event or the mid-card, he made everything feel important. And let me shed more light on his feud with The Miz, because like I said, that feud was money, especially their back and forth promos and matches. Miz was the smug Hollywood villain, and Dean was that scrappy underdog who didn't care about anything, he just wanted to fight. The contrast made for some seriously entertaining TV, even if it wasn't on the same level as, let's say, Dean vs. Seth. It was still good. And we can't talk about Dean's WWE run without mentioning the multiple Shield reunions WWE did. Like, I know they knew fans loved seeing these two together, but the way they milked it was low-key hilarious. And whether they were battling the New Day, The Bar, or some random faction, it was low-key always fun seeing these three back together. Which is why WWE made the decision in 2018 to turn Ambrose heel on Seth Rollins, the same night Roman told the whole world he had leukemia. And I'm gonna say this was fire. I vividly remember sitting at the TV watching this happen and just couldn't believe it. Like, it was crazy. It was everything a heel turn should be. But the follow-up was trash, man. The follow-up was trash. Instead of leaning into the gritty personal beef between Dean and Seth, WWE gave us some goofy ass promos about germs and gas masks, and Ambrose deserved better, and so did the fans. Their eventual match at TLC was decent, but it didn't live up to the hype at all. And by early 2019, it was clear Dean was done. His booking had become stale, and he was fed up with the creative. And that's not even mentioning, at this time, Dean Ambrose vs Nia Jax was legit a planned match that was supposed to happen. Thank God it didn't. Eventually, Dean's contract would run out, and as we all know, he would sign with AEW, basically becoming their poster boy, their ace, their guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. Dean's WWE career basically falls down to not being perfect, but definitely being unforgettable. The lunatic fringe left his mark, and that's all that matters.